Hi again then guys, and welcome to another top-end performance build for the world of Gran Turismo. And on this particular occasion we're returning to an older Gran Turismo game, very popular one as well, Gran Turismo 3, and this particular tune is similar to a couple of other top-end builds that we've done for this game for vehicles like the Toyota GT1, the Nissan R390, the Gillette Vertigo. The Suzuki Escudo does it as well, but it's not quite as quick, at least from my personal experience. Now this car isn't as fast as, for instance, the Toyota TS20, no way near, but you got to bear in mind, if memory serves, you're running about half the power of that car, so you wouldn't realistically expect it to be as quick. Now, as far as the settings go, I would recommend fitting basically everything that you can fit. And in the case of this car, that's the Stage 1 Turbo. I would also recommend giving it an oil change. That gives you about an extra 40 or so horsepower. And I would definitely recommend super soft tyres, because you need as much grip as possible. Now, as far as the settings go, I would recommend spring rate, and many of these settings are similar to the others like the Toyota and the Nissan. I'd recommend the spring rate as low as possible, front and rear. The ride height you also want as low as possible, front and rear. And then as far as dampers, you want those as high as possible. Well, actually, they're not as high as possible, they're stock technically on 7. Camber we've got on 1 degree, front and rear. Neutral toe, and then the stabiliser, I should have said, was high as possible, not the dampers. Now, as far as the brakes, you don't necessarily have to change them. I've changed them to level 10, as you can see. That's not really essential for the tune, though. As far as the diff, you want your initial torque on 5, acceleration on 60, and deceleration on 5 again. Then for the gearbox, you want to take your auto setting all the way up as wide as possible to level 48. Then take your final drive down to 3.1. That seems to be the sweet spot for this car. And then the individual gears don't really matter. You could change them up if you want to, by all means. Then as far as downforce, you want the front as low as possible and the rear as high as possible, and that's what initiates that wheelie. Funnily enough, if you give it less downforce, which in real life would make it quicker, on the game it doesn't. It has the opposite effect. It doesn't work as well. And I've got, as you can see, the stability manager and traction control on 0. So that's it for the tune. Relatively simple, and as I said, follows similar guidelines to the Toyota and the Nissan. But all that remains, of course, is to actually take it out on the test course to watch it in action. Now, as far as getting the performance out of this particular car, it does take a little bit longer than some of the other vehicles to actually initiate that wheelie. And that's not surprising. We already said it's got a lot less power. In fact, it's got less than 1,000 horsepower, which is significantly less in particular than the Toyota, but also, of course, than the Nissan as well. Now, it initiates the wheelie at around 400 kilometers per hour, which is about 250 miles per hour. As far as the cornering goes, I would recommend keeping the car nice and high. It's relatively easy to do, it doesn't bounce off the wall, the handling's pretty good. As you come out of the corner, then it will start to scrape the wall, keep it as straight as possible, and then when it does initiate the wheelie, it doesn't last for very long, but you can get it up to about 510 kilometers per hour, which is, as the title said, 317 miles per hour, which isn't as quick as the others, but it's certainly more than quick enough to win, for instance, like the Wind, easily. So overall, if you do decide to use this build on your 787B, or by all means try and make it even quicker, there's definitely the potential there, then of course I hope you have a lot of fun doing so. And if you like this tune and would like to check out more, then you can find tunes like this for both GT3 and GT4 in the playlist at the end of this video. But for now, as always, thanks for watching.